Okay, well, I'm Roger Martin and I'm chairman of Population Matters.
And what does Population Matters do?
We are a leading organisation and an environmental charity in this country trying to raise awareness of the fact that basically population growth is a multiplier of all environmental problems and therefore a variable to be tackled alongside all the others rather than ignored.
During the debate today there was a fair bit of hostility towards you. Do you have any comments about that?
Yes, I can't understand the people who are saying either or. You know, they say it's a digression. You must not talk about population, you can only talk about consumption. It's our overconsumption in the West, it's not population. Or it's capitalism, it's not population. Of course, it's all those things, and social inequality, and politics, inefficiency in technology, everything. But without limiting the multiplier, without halting population growth, multiplying every other problem, the other problems are not going to be solved. So, yes, I was puzzled by that. There was this complete cloud cuckoo stuff from the Revolutionary Communist Party chap talking about, yeah, you know, let's have the more the merrier. Let's go on to hundreds of billions, he said. Well, obviously that's garbage, anyone can see that. It was just having fun. I mean, it's a good joke, but it's a joke not on you, I hope. Then there were those who seemed to say technology will save us. They had this blind faith that as it were God or the science will somehow come up with a way of conjuring enough food for 9, 12, 16 billion people out of a planet which at present is losing its soil, its arable soils, at the 30 times replacement rate. It's reducing the major aquifers at many times their replenishment rate. The deserts are spreading as a result. The rivers are being heavily depleted and running dry, and we've got threatened real conflict along the Nile and the Mekong and the Euphrates. We've got a billion people in the world malnourished already, despite our best efforts to feed them. We've got water stress rising and sea levels rising, so that the estuaries, which are the rich silts, will be the first to go under rising sea levels. We've got peak oil upon us, and we turn oil into food, largely, for industrial agriculture in order to feed the world. We have all these situations we are not coping with now. We are gobbling up the natural capital left us by the planet over the last 4 billion years, and we're gobbling it up in a few decades, and they still talk blithely about, of course, technology will come to the rescue. You know, somebody will invent a magic widget. Well, I hope so, but whatever the technology is, all the problems are easier to solve if we stabilize our numbers at the lowest possible level by non-coercive means, and all of the problems become impossible to solve except by letting nature take its course, if we keep populations rising, at which point the famines, the disease and the war will spread and numbers will stabilize and probably crash. But that's the outcome we do not want. Fewer births sooner, more deaths later. We want the first.
So other than events like this, how else is your organisation trying to get this message across?
We are in touch with I'm a member of various parliamentary groups or invited along to them when I can talk to MPs. We've got a press officer who puts out press releases whenever we see yet another report on some environmental problem or other which does not mention population. We put out the little press release saying there's a hole in the middle of that where population numbers should be, because all the environmental NGOs all know that all their problems become harder to solve the more people there are, ultimately impossible. They know David Attenborough's right, and yet they won't say so because they're frightened of upsetting the funders, you know, keeping themselves in jobs. They tell this silent lie where they imply that they could have lovely, sustainable wildlife and everything else, regardless of how many people there are, when they know it's not true. And I reproach them for that. I think they should stop selling that silent lie and join us in pointing out it is one of many problems, but it is the common multiplier of all of them.
And do you think debates like this, especially when young people are involved, are going to help further your cause?
Yeah. Young people have to live on this planet for another 50 years. I mean, I'm 70, I'm fine, I'll be dead. With luck, I'll be dead well before it gets to be a serious hassle for me. My little granddaughter, my favourite person, she's British-Nigerian mix, and she's the sweetest, brightest kid I know, full of hope in the future, and I worry, I lie awake at night really worrying about the world she's going to inherit from us. because I think unless we can get the population and the consumption stabilized in time, they will be stabilized and then reduced for us by natural means. The default position is to leave it to nature. And nature's way of keeping numbers in balance with their habitat are cruel. They are famine and disease and predation, so that no matter how many kids you have, only the top 2 can survive to breed in turn, because the others have been eaten or died of starvation or whatever it is. I mean, that's a future for her that I fear.
Thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to say?